you can be incredibly capable, high achieving, faith filled, and responsible and still be living in a constant state of internal tug of war. That's not alignment. It's kind of like survival. And there is a hidden cost of that resistance. Welcome to the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast, where you will learn simple solutions to win at work without losing at home. Hi, my name is Martine Williams, and I am your host and CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And this podcast is your one-stop shop to creating a burnout-proof life and business by elevating your clarity, confidence, and courage. Friends, it's time to say goodbye to being the yes girl, to procrastinating on your goals and living in overwhelm. And it's time to say hello to creating healthy boundaries, healthy mindsets, and healthy habits so that you can achieve work-life harmony. Your next breakthrough starts here. This is the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast. Let's do this. Well, hey friends, welcome back to Life Coaching for Mompreneurs. I'm so glad that you are here today. It is absolutely freezing here in South Carolina. I know I have listeners from all across the country, and maybe you are sitting in 80-degree weather. I'm super jealous if you are, but we're not used to getting snow and ice, and this is our second weekend of potential snow, and it's just cold. And so I don't know about you, but I kind of hibernate in the winter time, which is good and helpful and also sometimes isolating. And for someone like me who has, like, my strongest personality trait is my people trait, not being around people as much can impact your energy and how you show up. And so if you hear in my voice a little bit different tone and maybe not as, I don't know what the tone is, but it's definitely different. And I want you to know that I still wanted to come on the show because it just helps. It's very helpful for me to feel like I'm talking with you and talking with someone and sharing what I am learning in the season that I'm in. But there is still a lot of grief that I'm working through. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. But I just want you to know that I am so thankful that I have this show and that I have you to tune in with. So whether you're listening while you're folding laundry or driving to carpool or walking, or maybe you're sneaking in a quiet moment with some coffee, I just want you to know that this episode is for the woman who is doing her best, but maybe you're quietly thinking, like, this is not how I thought this would look. This is not how I thought the beginning of the year would look. This is not how I thought I would end last year with. Today, we're going to talk about something that has been kind of sitting with me really deeply in the last 2 weeks. And part of my purpose, I believe, is part of the past struggles that I've been through or currently going through that I feel like I can share about to empower, encourage, inspire, and just to help you feel seen too if you find yourself in this situation. So how to find peace when life doesn't match the plan. And like the Pinterest version, maybe the prayed for version that you have been praying for, the 5 years from now version, but how to find peace in this version of you as you become the next version of you, finding peace in the current circumstance as you move into a different circumstance. And we don't know the timeline on that. We don't know the timeline of circumstances. And sometimes they don't change. But our church has been, we start the year every year with 21 days of prayer and fasting. And it's become one of my favorite things to start the year with. And I don't know for you, if you're listening and prayer is something that you struggle with, it's definitely something that I have struggled with over the years. And so this just really helps me to be intentional and to gather with others and to just invite the presence of the Lord and pray for the year and pray for things that didn't happen the previous year, but also like looking forward in expectancy of what will come this year. And we've been in the Psalms, and the Psalms are great because there's just, pouring out of feeling defeated and there's also just a really great reframes and refocusing back to the Lord and his presence, and he's always with us. And I have always been someone who likes to understand even more on a deeper level. And so a lot of times I will read through the scriptures and I go into a Matthew Henry commentary or some other commentary to help me, okay, like, what is this actually talking about and how can I apply this? And because sometimes it's just not completely clear to me. So this happened earlier this week. And so I wanted to start with a quote from the Matthew Henry commentary that really kind of stopped me in my tracks. And it always reminds me of like how the Bible is the biggest mindset book out there. And there's just so much that we are now like finding through science that he's been saying all of these years to us through the Bible. So the quote that he said in there, Matthew Henry commentary, was when our condition is not to our mind, we must bring our mind to our condition. And then we are easy to ourselves and all about us. And then our souls are as a weaned child. So let's talk about what that really means and why it matters so much for the kind of women that we are and the lives that we're building, and really kind of why that struck me. Because there are seasons where nothing is technically wrong, right? But things feel unsettled. You're functioning, you're responsible, you're showing up, but internally there's like this quiet resistance. And that's definitely what I've been feeling the last 2 weeks. And it's just been really, really heavy. And grief is like that, I'm learning. And I haven't experienced a lot of grief in my life. And so this is like new territory alongside of me allowing myself to fully feel all of the things. And that's also been new territory over the last few years. And so I have had an expectation of what this was going to look like. So there's been like this quiet resistance, a tension, a constant mental loop of, and maybe you're experiencing this, like this wasn't supposed to be this hard, right? Or I thought I'd be further along. And like I'm putting this in my bucket as far as grief. You might put this bucket in like where you're at in your business. You might put this in the bucket of a relationship being restored. I thought this season would be over by now. Like I really thought, me being the person who there's a right way to do something and have the tendency to be the performer. Like I thought this grief would be over by now. I'm doing all the right things. I'm taking care of myself. I'm getting sleep. I'm talking about it. I'm allowing space to just be. I was talking to my friend slash therapist slash coach yesterday, and I was like, what am I missing? What am I missing? I thought I was doing it right this time, and it's just not going away, right? Another one could be, I thought I'd feel more fulfilled in this. Maybe like you've built a business and you thought you would be more fulfilled than you are right now. And we don't always say those things out loud, but they're definitely in our heads and we're saying them silently with our stress, with our overthinking, with our like tight shoulders. Like the other day I was driving down the road and I realized like I was leaning forward and I was like, my shoulders were up and I was just so tense. And I'm like, no wonder my body is all jacked up and I need massage. Like if I'm driving down the road like this, or if I'm sitting at my desk like this, like it's causing the tension is there, right? And so you may not be saying these things out loud, but silently through your stress, your overthinking, your tight shoulders, your constant need to figure it out, which is me constantly trying to figure it out so I can get out of it. And I think that in this commentary, he names the real problem. It's not just our condition, it's the gap between what is and what we expected. I've said this on the podcast before, and I was reminded this week that frustration is misplaced expectation. And on top of the grief, I've been experiencing frustration, and it's just not helpful. It's really not helpful, but it is where I've been. And so I've just been exploring and being really curious about it. But he says when our condition is not to our mind, we must bring our mind to our condition. And that's uncomfortable because we'd much rather bring our condition to our mind, right? Change the job, fix the relationship, speed up the process, get the answer. make the uncertainty go away. But sometimes God doesn't change the season. Sometimes he changes us inside the season. And most of our emotional exhaustion doesn't come from what's happening. It's coming from arguing with what's happening. That's what my frustration has been this week. Replaying it all, resisting it, rewriting it in our head. Like, why is this not over? Can I just speed this up? Someone said, was reaching out to me the other day, and what can I do? I'm like, unless you have a time machine that can speed this process up, there's really nothing. There's really nothing, because it's just is right now. It is sad. It is heavy. It is frustrating. And you can be incredibly capable, high achieving, faith filled, and responsible, and still be living in a constant state of internal tug of war. And that's not alignment. It's kind of like survival. And there is a hidden cost of that resistance. And I've been experiencing that this week. So let me put my coaching hat on for a moment. And when you resist your reality internally, your nervous system stays activated. Like it's been on all cylinders this week. Your energy drains faster. There have been times this week where I've literally gotten in the bed at 3 o'clock and taken like a 3 hour nap. Like now, back in the day, I used to be the queen of naps, but I'm not usually someone who can nap. But that's how much my energy has been drained. Your patience gets thinner. Your decisions get heavier. Your capacity shrinks and your joy becomes conditional. So when you're resisting the reality, me resisting that the grief is taking longer than I thought it would, you start telling yourself that I'll relax when this changes. I'll feel better when I get through this. I'll be peaceful when I understand why. I don't do that one as much because I know that peace doesn't come from understanding. It just comes from a person, and that's Jesus. But peace doesn't come from knowing all the answers, because we can't possibly know all the answers to all the things that happen to us. But peace that depends on outcomes is fragile. If you're waiting on your circumstance to change, to feel peace, joy, happiness, comfort, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. I'm setting myself up for failure. Alignment says, and emotional safety and capacity and intelligence says, I can be grounded here. Not because it's perfect, but because God is present. But because I know how to hold this emotion. I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to shame it. I'm not going to avoid it or push it down. And sometimes misalignment isn't doing the wrong thing. It's demanding a different season than the one you're in. Like when I was talking to my friend yesterday, and I'm like, what am I missing? What am I doing wrong? Like, is there a book I need to read? Is there a step that I'm not doing? And I mean, she just was like, there's not. You're doing all the right things. It's just that you're demanding a different season than the one you're in. And she kind of gave this example of when, you're sitting on the beach, or you're sitting at the lake, or you're sitting out at the pool, whatever, in the summertime, or kind of in the springtime when like the sun goes behind the cloud and it kind of gets a little chilly and you're like, oh, waiting for that sun to come back out. Like there's absolutely nothing you can do to make that cloud move faster. And that's what I've been trying to do this week, is demanding a different season. Like, get out. I want to get out from under this dark cloud that has felt so heavy. And this week has felt a little bit heavier. But that's where the misalignment has been, is I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not missing anything. It's just I'm demanding a different season than the one I'm actually in. And that's resistance. And we all have forms of resistance that show up. So maybe yours isn't, maybe you're in a season of grief, but maybe you're just in a season of like, I wish my business was growing faster. I want the results yesterday, right? And that's part of my frustration that has been piling on top of the grief, which is not helpful, is like, I do want to be further along in my business. There are things that I had on my plan for the beginning of the year that are now having to be on the back seat a little bit. They're still there. I'll still be able to do them. And I am still doing some of them. But again, my expectations are not reality right now. And so that's where the frustration comes in. And then the resistance shows up because I'm like, how can I just force feed? Have you ever tried to force feed a child and like the mouth, they're just not, it's not happening? That's how it feels a little bit. Quick pause. If you've been listening and you're ready to stop performing your life and start leading it, if you know you're ready to feel better now, not later, and you're ready for support that actually creates sustainable transformation, I have private one-on-one coaching spots open. And inside this coaching, in Illuminate You coaching, we don't guess. We use your unique personality blueprint built from the science-backed personality and performance tool called the ProScan, the one you've heard me talk about here in the podcast. This is used so that every decision, every boundary, every shift is designed specifically around your wiring, not someone else's. This is my aligned success method. It's not hacks. It's not try harder. It's not mindset glitter. It's a real solution. It's rooted in science, strategy, and your unique design. So you can lead your life as the woman you actually are, not the woman others expect you to be. Now is the time. Take the step. Book your clarity call at martinewilliams.com/clarity. All right, back to the episode. So in the commentary, Matthew Henry ends with this: then our souls are as a weaned child. And that image comes from Psalm 31, which is the psalm that we were in and where all this kind of came from. But you think about a weaned child isn't frantic. They're not clawing. They're not demanding. They're not panicking about what comes next. They're calm. They're secure. They're resting. Not because all their needs disappeared, but because they trust who holds them. And that's such a powerful picture of maturity. A weaned soul still hopes. It still dreams. It still desires growth. But it no longer panics for control. It no longer says, I cannot be okay until this changes. It says, I'm safe with God, even here. I can be sad and still show up. I can hold this grief and go to that event, right? It's adding the ands. It's the both and. It's acknowledging the season that you're in, the season that I'm in, and then asking the really important question, what do I need in this season right now? What's most important right now? I know for some of you, you might not have the luxury and the flexibility in your schedule. Maybe you're not an entrepreneur and you still have to get up and go to work every day with the grief. What can you do? Instead of allowing your brain to go to, I can't do anything, I'm stuck here, like all of those thoughts that are just not useful, what can you do? What do you know? And we've talked about that here on the podcast. The moment you tell yourself, I don't know, or I can't, it's like your brain just shuts down and it's not looking for possibility. This is not weakness, it's strength. When you're like, it's hard and I'm grieving and I'm still able to hope and it's heavy. That's deep faith. That's emotional leadership. So some practical kind of alignment shifts that you could practice this week, not to force peace, but to make room for it. If you find yourself in this season, number one, I want you to name what you're resisting. That was really helpful for me. Like, what am I quietly arguing with? What are you quietly arguing with? Is it a timeline? That's me right now. Like, I thought I'm doing all the right things. Lord, I'm following the rules here. And my timeline is just different. It's just different. Grief's timeline is different. Are you quietly arguing with the diagnosis, a business season, a relationship dynamic, an unanswered prayer? Awareness is the beginning of alignment. Like, what is it that you're quietly arguing with? Name what you're resisting. There's power in just naming it. And then 2, release the timeline. That's the hard one. So many of us are exhausted by invisible deadlines, especially if you're a high achieving woman listening to this. Like, I should be past this. I should be over this. I should be further. And if you haven't communicated to the people in your life that are closest to you, they may have these timelines on you too. And that's really important to be able to share with someone and say, like, This is where I'm at. I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm working on it, and it doesn't have anything to do with you. But I am different right now. I do feel different right now. I'm not showing up probably like I normally would. So don't let the invisible deadlines of others as well be on you. Like according to who, right? So release the timeline. Like just that pressure, I felt a release a little bit yesterday of just, I'm doing all I can do, and it's just time. Time just has to pass. Time has to heal the wounds. Number 3, separate peace from progress. You can be growing and grounded, healing and stable, becoming and calm. You don't have to delay your peace until the finish line, like until you get there, until your business gets there, until the grief is over. Like I don't have to wait until it's all over to feel peace. I can choose thoughts right now in my grief that give me peace. That's the power of managing your brain and managing your mind, your thoughts to pull up that emotion. Like I had a friend send me a text that said, I just want you to think about the beautiful blue waters of our trip in St. John's that's coming in June. And when I think about that, and I think about the family time and the friend time, like it brings peace. When I think about the past struggles that I've been through and I made it through, and the person I became in the process, the growth that I experienced, the healing that I experienced, that brings peace. So you don't have to delay it until you hit your, and I'm like air quoting here, the finish line. Because we talked about the finish line too. There really is no finish line, there's a new starting line because we're always growing. Number 4, practice present trust. Instead of God will be with me when this works out, try God is with me now. He's with you now. He's near to the brokenhearted. He's with you now, not just in the breakthrough, but in the messy middle. So if your life feels different than you imagined right now, maybe this invitation for this season isn't to push harder, but to soften your grip, to stop fighting the moment God has already stepped into, to notice where you're resisting, to notice all the feelings that are coming up, and to allow yourself just to be with it and to trust and to know that you have 100%. I told one of my clients this the other day, you have 100% track record of making it through hard times because you're still here. You're still showing up. And it's really hard when you're in the middle of it. It feels like it's never going to go away. But alignment isn't control, it's trust. With your shoulders relaxed. This too shall pass. This season in my business will pass. What is the gold? We talked about failure gold, but who is the person that's being molded in this season? What does your grief make possible in this season? What does your slow down your business make possible? It's always the who before the how. Who are you becoming in this season, in this circumstance? And how is that going to be fruitful later? We can choose to see the obstacle or we can choose to see the opportunity. It's 100% your choice and your decision to decide what you're going to see and what you're going to focus on. And how can you be kind to yourself as you're in it? So, trusting with your shoulders relaxed is saying, I don't love this, but I'm also not alone in this. Like I just said that yesterday to my friend slash therapist. I'm like, I'm tired of being sad. I don't like it. I felt like a toddler a little bit, like kicking and screaming. I don't like this version of me. I don't like feeling sad. I don't like feeling frustrated. Like I am the queen of possibility, right? I'm the person who's encouraging others and inspiring others. And it just feels like it's been one thing after another, really for 5+ years, y'all, but really intently in the last year. And so I can say, I don't love this. I can say it to friends. I can say it to family. I can say it to God. And there's something powerful in just voicing that out. I don't love this. But also, I'm not alone in this. And I noticed my soul becoming quieter, steadier, like a weaned child yesterday. It felt more rested. And even this morning, just acknowledging that and talking with someone who could encourage me, right? Like we stay in our own heads. It's a really, really dangerous place to be, especially if you're in a kind of a funk season. Let someone speak life over you. Let someone acknowledge your pain, acknowledge your frustration, acknowledge. And that's what the beautiful part of coaching and that I get to do every week with my clients is sometimes we're talking strategy, but a lot of times we're talking about the emotional side of being an entrepreneur and being a mom and holding both with grace and gratitude and power and courage and uncertainty and risk and all of the other emotions. But there's power in sharing that with someone else. So if you're trying to go alone with this and in business, it's hard. Business is hard. Growing a business is hard. Growing it alone is even harder. Solopreneurship is hard. So talk with someone about this. Let someone speak life and encouragement over you. Let someone validate how you're feeling and what you're seeing to be heard. And I do think that's one of the most powerful things about coaching is it's the one place you can come to where the person is not attached to the outcome, the results, the emotion. They can just have a neutral space, a safe place for you to land. And that's what my clients experience when they're working with me. So I hope that this episode met you where you are, and I'd love for you just to sit with it this week. Maybe journal on it, maybe pray through it, maybe just notice when your mind starts wrestling with your reality and gently bring it back. I'm always honored to walk alongside you in these conversations and always honored to have time with clients one-on-one or potential clients on a clarity call. So if this is resonating with you and you just want to be seen, heard, and supported, book a clarity call. martinewilliams.com/clarity. We're going to talk about where you are, where you want to go, and we're going to talk about how to get you there. And then you get to decide what you want to do with that information. But sometimes it's an hour where you just get to be heard and where you get to be poured into. You're the one doing all the pouring out. This is an opportunity for you to have someone speak life over you, speak truth and clarity over you, and help you to see things from a different perspective. Maybe all you're seeing right now is obstacles after obstacle after obstacle. Let me be the one to show you the opportunity in the obstacle, because there is one. There's many probably, but when you're in it, it's hard to see it. So that's it for this episode. I hope it was helpful for you. And I'm looking forward to having our Turquoise Talk guest coming back on the show next month or in February. Y'all stay warm out there, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope it met you right where you are and gave you some encouragement for your day. Could you do me the biggest favor and leave me a rating and review? Seriously, it's the best way for you to support the show. And while you're there, be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks again. And until next time, I am believing in you always.